Hey to all those seeking vibrant health. I'm Dr. Rachel Northern, and we're doing one of our monthly talks tonight, live in the office at Northern Lake here in Johnsburg. And tonight I'm talking about healthy eating and family wellness and some healthy diet hacks. So I'm really excited to do this talk because this time of year a lot of people think, let me just get my technical things, I get my screen up. A lot of people think, wintertime's kind of like hibernation time and the comfort food time, and we're going into the fall season. But this time of year is just a really great time to start picking up healthy habits of meal planning and just helping you eat healthier, be more proactive in your healthy eating and how you treat your body and what you're putting in your body. So my intros cover some topics about, diet mindset, some healthy diet hacks, your physical body challenges, what you possibly have challenges with, some daily tips and some weekly tips. So hopefully these can kind of get you kick-started. I don't plan on talking a lot tonight. I don't have a lot of slides. So hopefully this is quick and easy for you to kind of just be able to apply to your life right now. So mindset. So what is a healthy diet to you? So, what do you think is healthy? And my experience when I was like a teenager, healthy was like I had to eat salads all the time and granola. And unfortunately, I found out after eating granola in college that, I started paying attention to my body and realizing it gave me stomachache. Well, later on, now I know I have a gluten intolerance and grain intolerance, and so it wasn't really good. So, for me, I was advertised that this was healthy, but it wasn't necessarily healthy for my body. So I want you to start paying attention to, what is a healthy diet, not just overall, but what's a healthy diet for you. So research has actually shown that the low-carb Mediterranean diet is actually one of the best diets for health. So if you want to stick with that as a basis, if you want to look at a particular diet program, I know we have all kinds of fads that come and go. There's the South Beach and there's the Atkins and all these other ones, new ones, the keto, the intermittent fasting, and it gets really confusing. Some of those diets benefit some people and some of those diets, don't work at all for people. So you have to start to pay attention to what's good for you. But overall, like I said, this research and science is saying the low carb Mediterranean. So that's pretty much what I stick to. And we'll talk a little bit about that later. How do you think about food? So what is it? Do you use food for emotional eating? Is it a comfort? Also, are you a person to eats to live, that's what you're a foodie and that's all you think, you would love food and it's like your life, you enjoy it a lot, and it's that's maybe you've overindulged because you just enjoy food so much, or do you eat just so you can survive? And that's kind of me. I can go through a whole day and not even think about cooking or planning eating. Unfortunately, my body obviously says, hey, you need to eat, you need energy, you need fuel. That's kind of my household. You've heard my talks before probably, where my husband is the cook of the household. He enjoys cooking. He enjoys making meals. He enjoys buying expensive cheese and weird things that I've never seen before and brings them into our house. And so he loves that kind of thing. He'll spend 2 hours in the kitchen making something. And I'm like, if I can't get it done in 15 to 20 minutes most of the time, or at least put it together and throw it in the oven, then I don't want to do it. It's just a necessary evil kind of my mindset. But I know what I have to do it, and I know what works for me and what's healthy for my body, and make choices. So think about how you interpret food. What is food to you? And also, what is your motivation to eat better? So it's always are you a pain, away from pain or towards pleasure? So with eating better, what would make you want to have a better diet? Are you, want to get away from the pain of being sick and lethargic and overweight and just feeling overall just unhealthy and poor self-esteem because maybe you're overweight and that just feeds into your physical complex? You want to get away from that? Or is it, you move towards pleasure where you want to have energy and just feel vibrant? So when I'm looking at a menu, say I'm traveling and I have to go to a fast food place or whatever, when I look at a menu, I'm looking at how is that going to make me feel later. So I'm going to pick something that's I know is healthy and makes me feel better later. Don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. Once in a while, I just want those French fries. But I know I'm gonna be like crashing and like blah later on when I eat the French fries. But at least I'm looking at it and thinking, okay, how's that gonna make me feel if I pick this item to eat? So back to we're talking about emotions. What are you feeling like doing a thing? Are you hungry here or hungry here? We just got past in September, we did the detox purification diet promotion. We usually do that in the fall and the spring. And, I talk about people when they first get on it, the first couple of days, they're having sugar withdrawal and they're like, feed me, feed me. And it's, I always tell people, like, is it up here in your head or down here in your gut? Like, are you actually hungry here, or is it like your addiction? Like you have like addiction to food. And, think about before you sit down to eat, think about your food. What do you got? What does it look like? Do a head check, do a heart check. See if you're eating emotionally, make sure, you're checking to see, okay, as you're eating, are you getting full? Pace yourself, maybe stop halfway. Like a lot of times I stop halfway through my meal and I, wait a little bit and see how I feel. They say a lot of times that signal doesn't shut off that you're hungry until later on, like it's kind of slow, it's kind of behind. So a couple minutes later, so kind of pay attention to that, because that's why on Thanksgiving, which is coming up, we always go, oh, I ate it too much. My eyes said I could have more and I didn't really feel it in my stomach. But then it's like 15 minutes later after you eat all that food, you're like, oh, it's too much. You feel that. So, pay attention while you're eating. How does it feel? Like, do you feel like you're kind of getting like that full? Do a check, and also pay attention. Like, are you mad? Are you sad? Are you bored? There's a lot of that eating while you're bored, or just something to do. So I have a lot of the people that telecommuted, like been working from home the last year and a half or so. And they said, I've gained weight because every time I have a break, I walk by the refrigerator and I just grab something and it's just like something to do and it's right there in my face. And so it's like, okay, first like hide your stuff or put it in the cabinets or whatever so you're less prone to do that. But just pay attention, like, are you just doing it because it's there and it's just like automatic? You're not even thinking, you're just unconsciously grabbing stuff. And try to put blocks in your path so you don't do that. So there's that. So also, like, pay attention to your physical changes. What kind of body type are you? Do you know you have a slow metabolism? Do you know you have a fast metabolism? Like, what do you need to do? Do you need to walk a little bit? Do you need to engage to burn some of those calories through your day to, use up that food you're eating? Are you overeating, and then that's just perpetuating fat on your body? Pay attention. You have like genetic weaknesses. Like look around at your family members. Like I said before, I know, from trial and error in the beginning that I had a weakness. Also, I knew my mom had some testing when she was, several years ago, and found out she had genetic weaknesses and food allergies. And so I had a family line, a history of problems with certain foods, and then just by trial and error and elimination diets, like taking it out of my diet, and then when I try it again, knew it negatively affected me in some way. Negative effects could be a stomach ache, it could be other bowel issues, it could be actually headaches. So I get headaches with grains, or particularly gluten, but it doesn't happen right away. So pay attention to that, because usually it's 3 days. It could be up to 3 days later that foods affect you. I have a lot of patients that struggle with dairy, and they notice that makes them congested and, have sinus infections. Children, a lot of times that'll feed into ear infections, like because it clogs up here and it'll back up into the ear. So those are kind of things to pay attention to. A lot of times I tell patients, hey, why don't you let's take it out for like 10 days. Do just elimination, just isolate 1 or 2 things, take it out, and then, like I said, introduce it again, but wait 2 to 3 days to see if you notice some changes or symptoms. that might happen, so that way you can kind of get an idea. There is a lot of testing out there too. If you want to, there's a bunch that popped up in the last year where you can do from home, like food allergy tests, like saliva, all these different testings that can come up that you can actually get feedback through those. So you can research that if you'd like, but you could just do the elimination and start tuning into your body as well. Also hormonal changes. So as we get older, us women particularly, we start to get around the midriff area. The hormones definitely play into the factor of how well we digest and process, produce energy, burn energy. So, what's going on with your body that way, if you're noticing some differences. Or as a female, paying attention to your, certain times of the month, do you notice you're craving more things? Maybe you're nutrient deficient in some of these nutrients, and that's why you're craving certain, chocolates. They say that means magnesium deficiency, and we need more magnesium to process some of the things going on in our body. So magnesium is one thing we do offer a lot in the office to help with some of the transitions, and I have had a lot of women that helps reduce migraines and such, just doing magnesium supplementation. So those are some things to think about, are you doing supplementation? So say you're even eating healthier and you are doing, say, the low carb Mediterranean, think you're doing great. Well, unfortunately, a lot of our foods are under fed, our plants are not getting the nutrients they need, so we have to supplement. So I do recommend everyone still, even if you're trying to eat the best you can, still to supplement with some micronutrients, microminerals, multivitamins, but I recommend more of the whole food style, which means they come from nature and not just fragmented vitamins put into a capsule or tablet. So if you want more information on that, don't hesitate to contact us through the website and email us. And then also one thing particular I talk about as a chiropractor is subluxations. So subluxation is the misalignment of the body, or the misalignment of the spine, and we have pressure on the nervous system, and the nervous system is the master control center of the body, and most people don't think about that's our efficiency system. So if there is a problem, there's an interference in the nervous system, say the one to the stomach or to the liver, it's not going to process as well. And I have had patients, it's not all patients, but I have a lot of patients that have said, I do a re-exam after they came in, and they said, my heartburn's gone. When I ask them, they forget about it, because when we feel good, everybody forgets about their problems. And I reevaluated at the progress exam. I'm like, you said you had heartburn for good. And they're like, that doesn't happen anymore. Or, I've noticed I've lost weight. So I do get those comments just from freeing up the nervous system, not even talking about diet and other things sometimes too. So making sure that the body is optimally functioning, the nervous system master control center is working as efficiently as possible. So some action steps to help you get this. So I'm big on still writing things down on paper, and great if you are techie, and there's all kinds of apps for the goals now. There's all kinds of calendars. There's all kinds of ways to do goal setting. And I know there's some good apps even on tracking food and behavioral modifications that have all this research on there. So go ahead and do that. Just that helps you get there and set an intention that you actually want to do this. Not sit there wishing I was skinnier or wishing I was healthier. You have setting that intention in place that's going to help you perpetuate to actually execute. And also helpful to get an accountability partner. Accountability people, and I recommend not to be a spouse or a parent or usually any family member. Sometimes sisters are okay, or brothers or something like that, but most of the time try to make it a non-family member and someone that loves you and it can say something and hold you in a loving way to say you said you're going to do this. Now, as your goals change, and have them report, have a time to report and talk about it, or talk about your struggles. And so you can brainstorm together of how to maybe overcome those obstacles and struggles you're having. Also, give yourself some time and credit. You know, a lot of these habits, any habit takes time to change. And like people just want to do like the New Year's resolutions in the past where they like, okay, and then, you know, I'm going to do this XYZ, and like 3 weeks later, they're back to their old habits. You know, it's something you have to keep trying. Just like we talk about riding a bike. The majority of people didn't jump on a bike and just pedal down the road with no training wheels. It took a process and a time and a reoccurrence and finding what works and what doesn't work for you. And that goes with myself. You know, I've been working out for about over 10 years now. I started out because I tried it myself. I was going to go to the gym, and I never went to the gym. I never did it. Finally, I just had a trainer literally come to me at the office, so I couldn't even escape them. And there were, you know, they came to the office. They brought the ball. You know, I already had the exercise ball, but they brought like bands and different things, and I exercised on my lunch break. And there was many times that I seen them walk up the sidewalk. I'm like, crap. It's that day. But they got me in a habit, and they made me, then all of a sudden I felt how good I felt after I exercised. So after my trainer actually moved away, I had so used to that habit that I perpetuated it myself, and now I've expanded days and, you know, all that. And now I know if I go time away, I feel the difference. I feel like, I just don't feel as good when I don't exercise. So same thing with eating right. You know, it's like when I eat the crap, I know I don't feel good. It's good to just like, okay, I know if I eat this, I'm going to feel better. I'm going to do better. So, you know, but give yourself credit and keep trying. So, you know, and count your successes also. So it's like, hey, I had a great meal. You know, count your successes. I had one patient tell me, you know, instead of saying, counting like how many cookies she ate, she'll say, I had 1 sugar incident this week, or I had 2 sugar incidents this week, or whatever. It's just incidences, so she just like kind of whatever. She just kind of rephrased it in a different way. But at the same time, count your like success, like, oh, I had a great day. I did really good today. Like, pat myself on the back. I did really good. So, you know, and then plan your indulgences too. Like, I know I'm going to a wedding this Saturday. My husband's cousins all decided to get married this month, so I have a wedding to go on Saturday, and I have a wedding on the Saturday after that. And I know, okay, I'm going to try to like make sure that I'm ready to have a little whatever treat for that day. So I'll plan that morning, and I'll make sure I'll maybe do the detox shake or whatever for my breakfast, and I kind of bank all my, you know, eat super healthy all the rest of the day because I know I'm going to just have something fun in the afternoon. So just think about it. You can have fun, just not all the time. I remember when my kids were little, and somehow they got in this habit where they thought they needed a treat every day. And I'm like, it's no longer a treat if it's every day. You know, you're like, can I have a treat? I'm like, it's not a treat anymore. That's just, now it's just mandatory, you know. So a treat is a treat. That's once in a while. It's not every day. So. And some daily habits to talk about with what I said about the plate. You know, we were talking about I researched this last year and talking about how just even having a smaller plate, and actually they talked about actually having colorful and bright colored plates actually help you eat less. So, and you can see the picture here. This just looks like it's the same amount of food, but just on a smaller plate, and it looks like it's more. So just having smaller plates, so buying smaller plates or putting your food on smaller plates, that alone helps you to eat less. So it's a pretty cool little mind trick you can do. And they, like I said, they also said having bright colored plates and bowls, actually, that's another trick to that helps you eat less, they said, or you put less in it. So, you know, making sure, like I talked about before, pause before eating. My faith background, we pause and say grace before meal, and it's just a very good way to reset your brain, and gratitude is a great thing, to positive place to be in your head. And then also it starts to like tune into your stomach. It actually physiologically tells your stomach, okay, I'm about to receive food. So it turns on all the receptors saying, oh, we need to produce, you know, hydrochloric acid, and we need to produce enzymes because we're going to receive food, and it starts to get you ready for eating food. I have a lot of patients that eat at their desks, or they used to eat at their desks. So I tell people also to pick up and go somewhere else. You know, even here in the office, you can ask my staff. I try to sit down in the lobby here. I'll have a seat. I step away from my desk, and I have a nice desk in my back, but I usually try to always have it here. So I sit down, I try to relax, and then separate that from now it's eating time, not working time. Because when you're working, your head's somewhere else. Your digestive tract's not gonna think it's our time to work, because that's the other side of your brain and the way your body works, your nervous system. So you want to make sure to try to separate that out. And you know, it's okay. It's 10-15 minutes away from your desk. It's a good thing. So try to do that. So the other thing, I just talked about is, you know, sleep. There's a lot of research saying how we process food better when we get adequate sleep. So making sure you are getting the sleep. I have tons of talks I've done on sleep in the past. And, you know, try to get, they say about that 7 to 8 hours, research says. I know some people can live with less, some people can live with more or need more. So again, listen to your body, but try to get that. One of my little pet peeves right now is just we have, like, every generation I feel is getting less and less sleep. So like right now, I just visited my daughter in college, and like she's telling me how she's staying up all night on Friday nights because her roommate's a night owl, and then I'm like, so you know, they like, just with the technology, they're on their phones and the screens and everything, and it's just messing up their brains and, you know, all that, and they don't get adequate rest, and then they're sleeping during the day. And just try to make sure you get a good pattern in. We know that's what the human body needs. So just try to make good, healthy sleep habits, because that overall affects everything. So daily routines also. When dining out, cut the meal in half and ask for a to-go box right away. So that'll help you right away not eat the whole meal. Because most of the time, most of American restaurants, if you go other places, they usually serve you the proper serving sizes. In America, every time I've gone to a restaurant, majority of the time, it is 2 meals, if not 3 sometimes, depending on where you go. So we wonder why over a third of our country is obese, which means way overweight. So that is because we just are overserved, part of it, and it's great. It's good, more money. I'm all about like money and, getting all the food I can for my money, but I just, always cut that, half, and then we have my lunch for tomorrow or whatever next meal. So always try to do that. That will be a good step right there. So then you're not tempted to eat everything on your plate, and then stop and ask yourself, is this what I want or what I need? What does the body want right now, or what does the body really need right now? Maybe stop and ask that question to yourself. Think about how this food will make you feel in an hour or two, which I talked about on the fast food menu or anything else, sitting in a restaurant too, or at home if you're making meals at home. And make sure you do read the labels and, measure out the serving sizes. So, I do this a lot, even myself, where I'll be like cracker, like a cracker, I do gluten-free, like the almond crackers, and I'll look, how much is the serving size? How many crackers should I have? Usually I only have half the serving size, but it's this is this many calories. Oh, it's 10 crackers. Okay, now I know what I'm eating, paying attention to what I'm eating, and read the label and the serving sizes. Also, measuring, maybe taking the cup to measure out your rice and other things, especially cereal. Cereal is one big thing. You should definitely get a measuring cup to where just dumping it in the bowl, because you're getting probably 2 or 3 serving sizes for cereal. So making sure you're paying attention to that, because again, you're overeating at that point. So one other research talked about is also saying eating by a window. They said that helps you be more relaxed, also helps you eat less. So I guess probably you're just looking out more and not, just more peaceful, maybe more tranquil, but also it's kind of slowing down the process of eating. So they also talked about soft music, candlelight also is better, trying to make sure you're chewing adequately. I forgot what the old thing was. They said you should chew 20 to 30 times or something before you swallow. Part of that is that mechanical thing, and plus we have enzymes also in our mouth that start to already break down the food. And also we have receptors that actually like can notify the stomach of what type of food you're eating, so it knows what enzymes are produced. There's like all this kind of crazy feedback, neurological feedback loops going on in our body. And if we just do things a little bit better, our body will perform a little better. So making sure you chew. Drink water away from meals. So I said throughout the day. So a big thing too is a lot of times if you drink a lot with a meal, that's diluting some of your hydrochloric acid and your enzymes. So yes, maybe a little bit of water, whatever beverage when you're eating a meal, but just maybe if you need to flush it down. But most of the time I say consume like your water and your beverages between meal, like throughout the day. So you should be drinking water throughout the day. That gets you more hydrated. But at a meal, it's kind of more focused on your food. So, and then, obviously stay active. Try to have something, try to make sure you're taking a walk, doing something, keeping your body in motion. So we're burning those calories that we're consuming. There's, big promotion of making the kids getting out and making sure they're doing like an hour of exercise every day and walk to school days and things like that. But just if you can just get 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at lunch break, 10 minutes in the afternoon of walking, something to keep your body moving, that's gonna help you a lot. And then brushing your teeth. So that comes in, obviously I'm not a dentist, and I do have a patient who's dentist, I'm sure she loves this, brushing your teeth, but they also say when you'll not eat, when you brush your teeth, you want to kind of keep your teeth nice and clean, so that kind of stops you from wanting to put another thing in your mouth, because then you might want to go brush your teeth again. So you're like, thinking about brushing your teeth right away after you eat, that just kind of stops you from perpetually eating through the day, So that's another quick little trick. So weekly shopping tips, I'm sure you've heard this one. Don't go to the store when you're hungry, because you buy everything. You're like, your mind's like, I want that, I want that, I want that. So don't shop when you're hungry. I usually keep like some nuts and trail mix in my car because they're stable with the weather or whatever. Usually in my little console area. So if I pull in the grocery store and I realize I'm hungry, I might sit there for a couple minutes, eat some trail mix before I go in, so I don't buy half the store. So that's like some little tip there. Something or make sure you eat something before you leave to go grocery shopping. Also, data talking about, if you prepare in bulk, so like a lot of people talk about, they prepare the meals on Saturday or Sunday, and then you can freeze stuff through the day. My office manager is really great on that. She does really good where she makes a big thing of soup or certain things, and then she freezes them in little individual serving sizes so she can take them here at the office. And we have a freezer and fridge, and so she just can pull them out and thaw them in the morning if she wants for lunch, and then she's got it ready to go. So it's kind of really cool, some things. Now, some things freeze better than other things, so pay attention to that. But, prepare in bulk. Another thing I just thought of that just came up is, everybody's big on the big box bulk stores shopping, and they said that actually is not helpful doing like a Costco or Sam's Club. When it comes to food. I mean, yes, you're going to have a party, all that food's going to go out, but majority of the time you're going to buy food that's not as healthy for you. Now, if you're using them just for your paper products and things like that, then that's great. But try to limit more of the fresh food and junk food there, because you're more likely, if you're going to have a big box of cereal or whatever, you're going to then eat more cereal because of that. So kind of pay attention what you buy at those type of stores as well. And then I like to hide the junk food, or what you consider junk food, away, and try to have the fruit out in center on my island when we have fresh fruit. So that way I kept, that's there and I'm seeing it all the time, and I'm more likely going to grab an apple, grab a banana. We have that here at the office. Like I have an apple bowl that I have here. And so I'm eating more apples because it's here and it's fresh before I can go climb up in the cabinet and see what else we got here at the office. Though we don't really have a lot of too bad junk food here. And pack out your snack bags. So making, just individualizing, your snacks. So I'm talking about like your carrot sticks, celery. This is something for me, I'll tell you, I've failed many times. I bought the broccoli, I brought the stuff, and I go, I'm going to break it up, and I'm going to cut it up, and I'm going to divvy it out, and they rot in the bottom of the drawer. But when I do it, it's awesome, because then I can grab it in the morning, and I'm more likely to eat it, and I bring it to the work, or I bring it, if I'm got a road trip or something. It's nice because it's handy dandy, and I can grab it, and it's easy access. So I'm going to tell you here, I'm not perfect in these things either. I'm still working on this as well. So it's still a trial in some of these areas for me as too, but for you, give it a try as well to help you eat better. And another study talked about declutter your counters. So like they said, if you have a clean surface, you're more likely to prepare meals. You're more likely to do a lot, eat less junk, or it's like some psychological thing is just nice and clear that you'll want to make something. It's like a fresh surface to like do something. You want to do something with that surface. So just clutter that. Put, like, if you have a lot of gadgets and stuff like that, find places, homes for them, and you can always bring them out as needed. Another thing is plan for the week, which we talked about, like sitting down and actually trying to think, okay, what meals do we want to eat today? And that's best to do before you go to the grocery store, so that way you can buy appropriately for the grocery store. So let's try to plan for the week. And actually, I've done this the last couple months. Actually, I've had some teenagers come in, and I'm asking them to participate in the meal planning, because the mom's like, they won't eat what I make, or they don't want to eat, they just want the pizza and the hot dogs and the french fries. And I'm like, okay, have you ever had them help you in the meal planning? Have you ever let them pick out anything? So I have a sheet that has fruits and vegetables and proteins, and I said, here's the sheet. You circle for mom what you want to try this week. So that's giving them engaged, so they're making the choice versus the parents just putting it on them. And so far we've had some good success on some kids eating, broadening their palates and eating other things. I already talked about the low carb Mediterranean diet is the best. They talk also in the fridge, showcase, all the healthy food in the front, all the junk in the back. So the same thing, whatever's first, that's what you're going to kind of grab. If you have to kind of move the path, make it a little harder effort for you. And a thing I do a lot of is give food diaries out with patients. And sometimes people want to engage, and then they start to write it down, and they don't want to. They're kind of shameful. There's no judgment. I just use it as, okay, this is for yourself. This is a good reflection to let you know, what are you eating? So this is another good thing right now. Maybe this is where you want to start, and just take a piece of paper and write down for a week what you're eating every day, or every meal, everything you're doing. So then you actually are holding yourself accountable and actually looking and observing, and not just being subconsciously eating. So take a food diary. The one website talked about actually taking pictures, like every meal you do. So then that's like a visual dialogue of like, oh my gosh, I didn't even, because a lot of people don't even remember what they ate the night before or the day. So maybe take a picture of that. I know we're really good about when we're out at a restaurant and taking pictures of our beautiful dinners, but I don't see too much of the, the bad dinners. So definitely the coffees. The coffees are always on Instagram and Snapchat and all that, but your foo-foo drinks. But let's go back to just like figuring out what you're doing, okay? And those usually aren't the greatest that are in those programs. So in summary, just make a plan, make an intention if you want to try to just treat your body better. We are not, one of my mentors talked about, we are not trash cans with hairy lids, okay? So it's not just to open it up and put whatever we want inside. It's like, pay attention. We are vital, awesome, beings, and we need to treat it as so. And if you want more information, I have, you can contact us through our website, www.thedoctorinu.com. So INYOU, Doctor and You. I do have Rachel. It's like I think it's Dr. Rachel DC, YouTube or something like that. So Dr. Rachel Northern, I should say, Dr. Rachel Northern, DC. And then I do have a book out on Amazon called Journey to Vibrant Health that kind of talks about all different aspects of health to try to help you be healthier. So thanks for joining me, and have a healthy life.